Ani Bujo Kinawea. Welcome everyone to Butterfly Spirit Drumming and this February month of a sacred pause, I hope. And the last quarter moon in our spirit moon, coming to soon a new moon, which will be our bear moon. And I'd like to welcome everyone here on behalf of Josephine and myself. And tonight we have a couple of special guests as well. So we'll introduce them a little bit later, but some of them have our four-legged friends too. So we welcome this animal energy in. Before we start, we always like to start with gratitude. And I was listening to Grandmother Renee talk earlier today. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to her and Dennis Windigo talk about Preventative Health Awareness Month, and just the idea of what we can do to take care of ourselves, Grandmother Renee was talking about the idea of being grateful as the very first thing you do every day. Just like when we have a ceremony or when we gather together, we always start with gratitude. And when we start off in that good way every morning or at every ceremony or every gathering, like we're gathered virtually now, it sets us up and it starts us off in a good way. So I thought that was a good reminder to wake up. And sometimes I wake up and I'm really grumpy, and to think first off though of gratitude. So I like that reminder. And so I'm going to read the part of the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address. And this is one that I've read before. It's from a beautiful book I highly recommend to everyone. It's the young adult version of Robin Wall Kimmerer's famous Braiding Sweetgrass. And this version is a really powerful read as well. So let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to each other as people. In these gathered faces, we see the cycles of life continue. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us everything that we need for life. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to the waters of the world that nurture life for all beings and all fish life in the water. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to the vast fields of plant life, the berries, the trees, the medicine herbs of the world. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to the edible plants we harvest from the garden, especially the three sisters. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to the beautiful animal life of the world and all the birds who move and fly about over our heads. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to the powers we know as the four winds, who purify the air we breathe and help to bring the change of seasons. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to our grandfathers, the thunder beings, who live in the west with their lightning and thunder voices. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun, our oldest grandmother, the moon, and the stars who spread across the sky like jewelry. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to the enlightened teachers who have come to help us throughout the ages. Let us bring our minds together as one as we send greetings and thanks to all of creation. We turn our thoughts to the Creator or Great Spirit and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. And now our minds are one. And before I pass it over tonight, I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jen. I have Anishinaabe, Scottish, and French heritage, and I live here in Mississauga. I am my family comes from Mattagami First Nation, which is near Timmins, Ontario. And I'm honored to share this space with all of you and my sisters that I can see on screen. And so I'm going to pass it over to them to introduce themselves. Miigwech.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Grandmother's Voice. My name is Josephine LaValle, and I think this is around our 8th consecutive bi-weekly drum and self-care talk. What we're doing. My roots are from Six Nations. I'm Onondaga. My native name is Gagaista, and the drum for me has been super healing. And I just can't contain my excitement because Sherry is here and that's a surprise. And she said yes. So I'm very super grateful for Sherry. And if you are able to go back on any of those last 8 lives that Jen and myself have done, you'll see that I've mentioned Sherry more than once, how she's been a big part of like the drum and the healing. And probably I want to say like 4 years ago, Jody had asked Sherry and I to drum on here, and we actually had a big drum. So that's also part of what Sherry and myself do. And our topic tonight is self-care. So the 3 of us beautiful women are just gonna whatever we want to share intuitively, our own self-care practice or something that we want to recommend with our own teachings and knowledge and experience. And we're going to do some drumming, and I will pass it over to the lovely Sherry.
Oh, Quay, hello. My name is Sherry. The role I've been given is the teacher of the children. My family background is Mi'kmaq French. My family's from Nova Scotia, and I'm just really excited. Josie has asked me over and over again to participate, and it's always been just so busy. And I remember us drumming and on the big drum and starting those virtual ones to help and send healing across, the region and Ontario and whoever else was participating in Grandmother's Voice. And I'm just, it's always a pleasure and an honor to participate in anything that is with our community or with self-care. And I was just so excited to see Jen too, because although I don't get the opportunity to go on your lives, I do go back and I watch them. And, I just love the fellowship and the gathering when we gather together for the, the goodness of ourselves and each other. So I just want to say Willalin for having me here. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Sherry. I just wanted to say, over the years, Sherry has been a big part of like helping and working with Jackie Labonte and Oliver for these drum making workshops. And as we've seen, like the power of the drum and the healing that comes with that, I'm so proud of Sherry for stepping into that role to be able to do that for the people and not only step into it, but empower and embody that, the drum and everything that it does. And it's just amazing. You're spectacular.
We all are.
She's so humble, eh? And okay, so Jen, however you want to flow, we can drum first or we can talk about self-care. We don't actually have a schedule. We just kind of just go with the flow.
I'm easy. What do you want to start with?
All right. Oh yeah. So she wanted to do the 7 grandfathers. So did you want to do that now?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And then we'll drum separate because it never.
Okay.
Yeah. With our theme tonight of self-care and it being Preventative Health Awareness Month, I thought about introducing or sharing the 7 grandfathers song. And this song is a way to acknowledge and maybe welcome in the energy of those 7 grandfather teachings. And so I think it's a good way to start our evening tonight. The 7 grandfather teachings are honesty, humility, love, respect, courage, wisdom, and truth. And I think, when we think about these teachings, if we can keep those front of mind, they can be a big part of our self-care, right? When we are honest with ourselves, that can be really hard sometimes, but it can also mean we're true to our spirit. Zagadewan, or love. To know love is to know true peace. And respect, honoring creation and the balance of life, but also respect for ourselves. So I'll sing this song. Now, the 7 grandfathers is sung 7 times. And so here we go. Way, way high. And if you want to find a beautiful recording of this song, there is the Seven Grandfathers song by the Women's Voices of Attawapiskat. And you can find that on YouTube or Spotify. It's Marie Gaudette and some other beautiful women who sing that song. So thanks for letting me share it. And over to you, ladies. And one day when we're together, then we can harmonize on that, because there's a lot of harmony on that song. And it's always fun to harmonize with you too. So take it away.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jen. So, like Jen said, that's a really good way to be on a daily basis with that Anishinaabe teaching of truth, love, respect, honesty, courage, humility, and wisdom. So we have decided that we'll sing the Believe song. And the two things that I want to share about self-care is our breath and what was the other thing? It'll come back to me. Water. Yeah. Are you reading my mind? Because it was water. So I might have had 2 or 3 things, but water was definitely it, because she got a water. So I will talk about the water in a little bit. And so this song came to me when I was in the bathtub. Sherry likes to embarrass me. No, I'm just kidding. So maybe like 8 years ago, I started drumming, and then I was just like meditating, because I was like taking the yoga teacher training, and a big part of that was meditation. So we had to journal, and I would meditate in the bath, and then this song came to me. And the way that I think of this, so I titled it Believe, is that if you had somebody that believed in you, like, oh, I believe that you're going to be, you know, a doctor or something. And then that person said, oh, I don't believe in you anymore. And then you're left feeling like confused or sad or whatever. I want to put that belief back into ourselves and not have that outside influence of somebody that believes in us. So then we're taking our power and owning our power to belief in ourselves. And part of that belief in ourselves is if we're going through some suffering, which we all go through suffering and grief, and individual pains and challenges that we go through. So if we can believe that there are better days ahead, if we can believe in that better version of ourselves, or we can believe in that person that got that diploma, or believe in the strength of that person to leave that toxic relationship. And I'm speaking from experience with that. So whatever belief means to you, and it's just vocables, and you can use it as a meditation when Sherry and I sing it, and just own that within yourself, that belief of whatever that is, that if you're overcoming something or you have a challenge that you need to overcome, just believe that it's going to be like the best possible outcome and the best version of yourself. We'll start it together because I can't remember. Okay, so I'll talk about the self-care for myself. I remembered along with the water and the breath. So it was 3 things, but I'm not going to talk about the breath and the water right now because we're going to like alternate between all 3 of us. So I want to talk about repressed emotions. So this is a personal thing with me, and I learned from Sherry over the years with the many circles and the many teachings and knowledge that she has shared in different sharing circles and sacred fires with myself and many other people, is that when we can identify with each other, then there's great healing that happens, you know, because we go through a lot of the same things together. We might not deal with it in the same way. We might have different self-care practices. But the reason why I want to talk about repressed emotions is because having trauma at such a young age and continuously through life, I was really good at pushing down those emotions, suppressing it. And with those repressed emotions, I realized after I had therapy, probably, I don't know, like 7 years ago or something, when memories started to come back and I wanted to release all the old trauma. And the drum was a big part of helping to heal all of that, to release stagnant energy and bring in positive energy. Those repressed emotions, some of those we're not even aware of. Some traumas that have happened to us that we've buried so deep, they come up eventually, and certain things will trigger different things within us. And Sherry's been a big part of helping me to dig up those old wounds. So that's being real, that's being authentic. And we don't have to pretend to be happy when we're friggin' upset or angry. And we're given all these emotions. But my suggestion to the ones watching is not to push those down and to deal with those emotions as they come. Can we have a freak out at work? Probably not. That's not good. We probably want to just like, you know, do some deep breathing. So I guess I could talk about the breath a little bit. So when we take a deep breath in and we exhale, that gives us that moment to not react to that person that pissed us off, right? We're in control of our own emotions. So if I'm having a bad day at work, no, I don't need to go and yell at somebody. I don't need to throw something. I can just take a breath, check myself, check that emotion. Because if I were to suppress that and repress that emotion and be like, I'm fine, I'm fine. No, nothing's bothering me. Obviously, you could tell with that body language that something's bothering me. And then I just like put on a happy face, like the old new age, like, oh, just positivity, love and light. You know, no, that shit doesn't work. You have to deal with the emotions. But sometimes I would put it on the back burner and even deal with it a month later, 6 months later, a year later. And that's why I was forgetting people's names. So say Mary's like, nice to meet you, Josephine. My name is Mary. And then I'm like, oh, what's her name? I got so good at repressing those emotions that even with people's names, now I make a conscious effort. Mary, nice to meet you, Mary. Mary is her name. That's Mary. Mary would, and then I'm like, when I see her again, I remember. So that's part of my own thing that I was doing. So what I recommend is that when we go through this life, this earth experience, because I believe we're a spirit having a human experience, that we deal with those emotions and whatever that looks like, that whatever that self-care practice looks like. And we see Sherry has her beautiful medicines here. And I'm sure she's probably going to want to talk about that because that's a big part of our culture. But smudging. One time I was upset at work and I had a lady just in my face like this with the whole war. And I had no place to go except for listen to her. And as much as I love her, I couldn't handle her energy. There's only so much that I can pull in my energy field before I stop talking about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't care if she's offended. This is my space. I'm trying to do my job and she's interfering in it. I walked away. I came back. She still kept going. It took like 3 times. So I went up to my boss, my supervisor. I said, I'm going outside to smudge. because that's within my right to do that. It's within my right with the treaties, even just to get a breath of fresh air. I went outside, I smudged. The lady apologized. It's okay that we have different views on what happens in the world, but it's also important to be respectful of other people's energy, right? And it's good to speak, like how you talk about truth and that. That's my truth. This is my space. I'm trying to do something here. Different beliefs, it's fine. So I was very grateful for the medicines that day that was able to help me. So I'm not just going to sit there, pretend like everything's okay, or push it down and be angry while I'm working. I dealt with that emotion at the time. So when we have these emotions, do your best, go for a jog, work out, scream, listen to music, whatever works for you. Because when I repress those emotions, it comes up. And sometimes it comes up when you don't want it to, right? And it's not the other person's fault that triggers you, because that emotion was deep. That needs to come up for healing. So that was my little part on my self-care, on dealing with emotions, and as different challenges come in this life, to not push it down and to just deal with it. And if you don't have that support, your animals can be your support. And grandmother Renee had shared that with me years ago, because like my relationship was new with Sherry. She's full-time, busy. She's not always going to be there. And I'm not always going to be there for my friends. We have to deal with stuff on our own, and we have our pets that we can talk to. And when Grandma Renee said that, I talked to my little cat, Charlie, and I was able to cry and grieve whatever I was going through at that time. So pets are a big part of like healing and self-care as well.
It's Jen's turn again.
No, I think you should go.
You think? Is that okay, Jen?
Yep.
Okay. So self-care, I loved what I heard from both Jen and Josie with the seven grandfather teachings. And, there's a little saying that I have, that feelings are like buses. There's a new one every 5 minutes. I can choose to get on and ride it, or I can choose to get off of that feeling. There are different things in my life that are triggered. And, I've done a lot of work for myself. I started on the Red Road. I've been in recovery for over 20 years, and, from alcohol and drugs. And, so I had to do a lot of work, a lot of internal work, because of the traumas and the things that I have faced and I had to walk through. And, today, for self-care and self-healing for me, we opened up a Wellbriety circle. So we gather in circle, and we use, we constantly, we read the code of ethics, and we drum, and we use our medicines, and we gather in circle in unity of all communities together for the sake is, there's that part of when you find that safe space and that safe person, that there's that spiritual connection that I believe, and there's a therapeutic healing that happens when two people can share back and forth with each other, that it's not just carried on to one person, and that's what I choose to do today. I choose, like Jen said, in the morning, before I even get out of bed and my eyes are open, I give thanks to Creator for giving me another day, because last year, January 9th, I had surgery from lung cancer, and when they went to do the work on to take out a piece, they ended up hitting an artery. So, I look at that gratitude of Creator giving me another day of air and a breath, and to be able to, and using my drum and the medicines and song to help me on that healing journey as I was on my recovery from my cancer. And, I continually go, like I said, the circles you do, I do every week, and I just believe that my soundness of mind is contingent upon my spiritual maintenance. So what is it that I'm doing for myself today? Whether I'm going to put my tobacco down and, and drum at the water, or whether I just go and be still and meditate. Or, like Josie, sometimes our medicines, I smudge in the morning. I smudge before I go into work. I smudge when I leave work. I smudge when I get home. I smudge my house. It all depends on where my mind is and where that thought process is going. I can't help, I can't control those thoughts that come into my mind because there's been so much. I have that, I call it the BBS syndrome, the busy brain syndrome, but I can control on how I react and I respond. And I really worked hard in the last 20 years to do it with grace and dignity, whether it's somebody, a coworker at work that might give me, grind me a little bit. But today I look at that person with compassion and say, well, there's something that may be going on in their life. If I'm looking in their backyard and trying to figure it out, mine's going to get dirty, right? So it's important for me to keep the focus on myself and what I'm doing for myself, because if I can continue to work on myself and continue to love myself, and that self, whether it's having a bath, a cedar bath, or they say going to the water, or connecting with like-minded people so we can share. It's important for me to to continue to do that on a daily basis. So and when that person that might be struggling is lashing out at me, then I have a firm foundation that I can be there to support that person instead of condemning them, because it's a hard road to go. And sometimes we wear those rose-colored glasses, and we do have to protect our energies and ourselves. And we can do that by just being mindful of that we are all equal. We are all on this earth together. We just come with different experiences and different things in our lives, that we can turn that trauma and turn it over and use it to help others. So for me, with my with the addictions, and that I've taken that and I've turned it over so I can help other people who have walked the journey that I have walked in different ways, because I don't compare. I can identify with them. So anyways, I think that's enough for me. That's what I do to self-care for myself today.
Thank you, Sherry.
Sherry, you said, I don't compare, I identify with.
Yes.
That's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't compare. I think that's a good, I don't know. I wrote that down. It's like, I need to remember that.
Well,
I like that. Like so
well,
many things said.
I believe that, because whether you're a male or you're a female, or it doesn't matter, because these are vehicles, right? That when we can identify with those thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions, and not compare to, well, they did it worse than I did, or they took $10 more than I did. It doesn't matter. Taking is taking, right? So it comes from that part of my perception, right, of how I want to perceive it. I mean, it's healing. It allows me to not make judgment on others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for those powerful words. And what you both say matches what I was going to talk about, which is I think one of the most important parts of self-care is letting things go and remembering that we can choose our thoughts. But what first came to me was our own fire within us that reminds us of our sacredness. And so if we have this fire within us, this heart, this beating heart, and this energy, what are we feeding our fire with? Are we feeding it with beautiful birch and pine and all of those nice woods, or are we feeding it with the old wood from our neighbor's fence and something, you get like pieces of baseboard or something that shouldn't be in your fires? What are we feeding our own internal fire with? Like, within thinking about our thoughts and how we're feeding our mind, right? I think that can, and then also when we think about that fire, is what are we putting into our bodies, like nutritionally, right? Water. Sherry, you talked about walking on the red road, you know, and what are we putting in our bodies? How are we treating ourselves? And, you know, I do believe that the body keeps the score. If it's not released, things will manifest in our body. You know, our thoughts, what we're going through, it affects what's happening in our physical self. So I think it's really important that we keep that in mind and think about where we're putting our energy and what kinds of things we're thinking about. And remembering, like you said, that sometimes for me, I get caught in, like you said, a loop of thinking about the same thing over and over again. But I've got to let it go. And so just being mindful of that, the power that we have over our thoughts, I think can be really an important part of our self-care. And for me, my music and also my creative practice, whether I'm beading or doing something else, is an important part of how I remember my own sacredness and listen to, you know, my internal, what I want. So I have that privilege to be able to do that sometimes. Should we sing something?
Would you like to sing your song now?
Sure, I'll do my song and then you two can do a closing song maybe.
Yes.
I'm going to sing How Could Anyone, which is a song by Libby Roderick, and it was created in the late 70s. And this song, How Could Anyone, is an anthem of hope and healing, about making peace with the past, and it honors our wholeness or our sacredness. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? how deeply you're connected to my soul. And sometimes when I sing that song, and also when I think about the way I talk to myself, let me just go grab something. The thing is, I almost started crying just now because I looked at my picture from when I was a little girl. And I think about that when I think about how I talk to myself, I think about her, this little person that was me at one point. And I know one of our faithful listeners, Amy, is on, and I know that she often talks about going back to who you were when you were quite young and what you can remember about the things that you liked, the things that brought you joy. And also, when we think about ourselves like this, we're not going to talk to ourselves in the way we do sometimes. And so that's all I have to say. We got you two take it away and finish us off.
Thank you so much. Remember years ago when you brought that song to the Milton group when Sherry and I came out and the women were crying because they were remembering how beautiful we are. We're all different. We're all unique. And, definitely nurture that inner child within. And all those things that people told us about being ugly or unworthy and everything, to realize that we are beautiful in all our unique ways. So we have another special guest that's going to sing. Okay, next time we'll surprise you. So we are going to sing Spirit Fire and then one other song. Did a light just go out?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so this one we like to sing, and it's from Bear Fox, so it's an easy YouTube search away. And I don't really keep a beat with it because I can't, but some people do because they're better than me. Just kidding. It reminds us to not let our light be dimmed. And when people tell us to dim our light because other people may get triggered by that, I would recommend to still shine your light, and the right people will be around you and receptive of your open heart energy. So it's just reminding us to nurture that inner fire.
There was a time when my spirit was low. My spirit fire barely showed. It was like a candle burning in the wind. My spirit fire was weak within. There was a time when I could not see all of the beauty surrounding me. I was always worrying, I forgot about me. I kept myself busy, trying to please. There was a time when I could not hear. In my words, all my words, they were not sincere. The same old words said every day. I was stuck on repeat and play. I was tired, I needed to change. I began learning my spiritual ways. I learned of the fire that burns within. and the importance to keep it burning. So I'm telling you so you know. Don't let your spirit fire burn too low. Make sure you take your time and look around and give your thanks to life on the ground. Keep your spirit fire burning. Keep your spirit fire burning. Keep your spirit fire burning.
Sherry, what was the name of that song again?
Pardon?
What is the name of that song again?
Spirit fire.
Spirit Fire. I'll just put it in the chat. And
Yeah,
who is it?
it's Bear Fox.
Bear Fox. Okay. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful song. I've heard you sing it before. I love it.
Mhm.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, it just reminds us, right? Like the topic of self-care, like it just reminds us that we are important, and like you said, that home fire within ourselves, our heart and our soul, and that being of, and in our minds, and just to nurture it, and to be gentle with ourselves. There's a lot going on out in the world right now, and
Excuse me.
there's a lot of things that get thrown at us, and we just have to remember just to take a step back, and to breathe, and know that we're going to be okay no matter what comes our way. So
My voice is done. I love you. Good night.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to close up here and say that some upcoming events with Grandmother's Voice are every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Grandma Renee and Dennis Windigo, I believe, will be on for Preventative Health Awareness Month, and they'll be bringing some beautiful teachings on the Grandmother's Voice channel, I guess or lives. And then our next Butterfly Spirit Drumming is in 2 weeks. That'll be February 15th. And then March 8th, Grandmother's Voice is doing an in-person event in Milton for International Women's Day called Honoring the Matriarch. And so that's an evening event, and look for some information coming about that soon. And with that, I wish everybody a beautiful evening. And until we see you next time, Bamapi, ladies. So nice to see you, Sherry. Thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks, Jen. Nice to see you.
It was so nice to see you, and we got to get in person so we can harmonize.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night.
Bye, everybody. Mama.
Bye.